I don't think you were here for the other two.
Yeah, they don't let me come on. They only let me come if they're sure I'm on my meds. Not true. So, and your name?
Zach.
Zach.
Yes, sir.
I'm bad with names too.
Okay.
I don't know about him. Look how young he is, and he's still bad with names, you know?
Yeah, I was saying, you said these things happen as you get older. I said they're already happening.
Yeah, you know, they just get worse as you get older. So welcome, Zach.
Thank you.
So this Krishna Cove, Krishna is a name of the most beautiful source of love, God. God has unlimited names, but this name of his is very favorite because it means it's very affectionate. You know, when you say that word, Krishna, you're not just saying God. You know, this is a name that means it's an affectionate exchange. So it's like we've said before, if somebody is like a Supreme Court justice, you know, when they go home in the evening, their wife doesn't call them Your Honor, you know, or Mr. Judge. She may not even call you by your first name. She may call you, Hi, sweetheart. How are you? So they have sweet names for each other, people that are in love. So Krishna is always in love. And he wants us to be in love with him and share love. So when you're in that loving mood, instead of God, this name Krishna is like something sweet. When you say that name, it gets his attention. Ooh, how do you know that? Very special name. So Krishna, Cove. Cove is a safe haven. So Atul Govinda came up with that. When you find a cove, you can get out of the bad waters of the sea, and it's a safe place to be. So this Krishna Cove is a safe place to come and hear about Krishna. I was going to say God, but I'm in more of a loving mood than that. So what do I mean by opportunity cost? Has anybody heard this? You heard of it? Yeah. Opportunity cost, something that people in business do all that make figure all the time. And we do too. We just don't know that we do it. But since some of you smarty pants already know what it means, I'll go ahead and read the definition. Opportunity cost is a fundamental economic principle that refers to the value of the next best alternative that you give up when you make a decision. In simpler terms, every time you choose one option over another, you are effectively sacrificing the benefits you would have gained from the option you didn't choose. This concept helps individuals and businesses make informed decisions by considering what they're giving up. So I've got a choice. I can do either this or I can do that. Which is better? Well, which one is going to hurt me the worst? You see, if I choose to go left instead of right, what opportunities am I giving up? What's the cost of an opportunity that I'm giving up to take this one that I'm assuming and hoping has better opportunities? So I weigh the opportunity of this way versus the loss of opportunities I'll suffer over here. We do this all the time. I need to do this, or should I do that? Well, if I do this, then blah, blah, blah. It's like the example given here is, for instance, imagine if you have $20 and you don't know if you should keep the $20, stay home, read a book, or spend the $20. What does it cost to go to a movie now? Huh?
Military
$12.
discount.
$12 with military issues.
It's
I forgot. I didn't do this.
probably a lot, you know?
$20 leaving the house.
Yeah, $20 to get to the car. So, you know, it's gonna cost me $20 to go to the movies. So if I stay home, I give up the enjoyment of eating yucky popcorn and watching a movie.
Probably popcorn.
I was hoping so. You see what I mean? So I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna have to give up that. So it's like that pretty much with every decision we make. If we really look at it, we're making decisions all the time, and there is a process that's driving us. So this is a consistent thing. This isn't anything new. As you know, I didn't invent this. So I know what you're thinking. Where is he going with this? And why should I care? So you had an opportunity cost. You could have done a million things rather than come here tonight. So it's something, but you gave up something by not coming. So let's discuss what you get. And then you figure out, you compare that to what you didn't get by coming. So in essence, opportunity cost is about recognizing that every choice has a trade-off. Except when you get into the spiritual world, when you get into the spiritual concept, if you choose spiritual life rather than to continue material life, is there a trade-off? What do you have to give up? I know we haven't thought a lot about that, but Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. So fast, by the way. So, and she's so beautiful. It's good to see her. It's good to see her grow like that. So, I'm going to go to the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita for 2 verses. Then we're going to jump back to the 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita for another verse. It kind of sums all this up. Bhagavad Gita, 6th chapter, verses 27 and 28. Krishna says, the yogi whose mind is fixed on me verily attains the highest perfection of transcendental happiness. He is beyond the mode of passion. He realizes his qualitative identity with the Supreme, and thus he is freed from all reactions due to past deeds. Well, he said a mouthful there, didn't he? I mean, really, this is Krishna. I mean, just picture, once you get to see Krishna as Krishna, other than God, well, you can see his mood. He's so eager for us to have a loving, affectionate relationship. It's like when you give him a chance to talk to you, it's like trying to take a drink out of a fire hydrant, you know? Krishna's like, wow, you're reading the Gita, you're reading my words. Okay, I've got a lot to say. How? So let's analyze that before I go on to the next one. So the yogi, somebody who practices yoga, and I'm not meaning just going to yoga, I'm talking about really the whole thing. The yogi whose mind is fixed on me attains the highest perfection of transcendental happiness. All right, so if I fix my mind on you, Krishna, and keep it there, I get the highest perfection of transcendental happiness. What would be the trade-off? It doesn't matter. What would you give up to get the highest perfection of transcendental happiness? Transcendental means something that transcends the material world. The spiritual, eternal happiness. And it doesn't go away. Spiritual things are eternal. Material things have a duration, a beginning, a duration, and an end. You see? So he kind of hits you really hard there in that first sentence, doesn't it? You know, you get the highest perfection of transcendental happiness. Tell me if there's more to be had. I mean, it's not like you're going to be looking at Krishna saying, oh yeah, so what else you got? You know, I mean, how can you negotiate with that? All right, well, I'll think of you all the time, but I also want this. You know, no, what else would you want? Nothing. In our unperfected stage, there may be something that we say, well, okay, but, you know, I want a new bicycle too. No, I don't think so. You're going to get the highest perfection, transcendental happiness. We all work real hard to be happy. We all have a strong desire to be happy. And the things that we work for, like stuff, you know, bicycle, you know, a car, whatever, we want those because it'll make us happy. Krishna says, I want to give you the perfection of eternal spiritual happiness. So that clinches the deal right there. Then he goes on and he says, this yogi that performs like this, he's beyond the mode of passion. The mode of passion means you have intense desires. I want this promotion. You know, I want this new Tesla. Well, you don't. Other people might. I want this, I want that. You say the mode of passion, desire. What if all of your desires were completely satisfied? And you're in that I'm good mood. You ever notice that when you offer somebody, you know, can I get you something to drink? No, I'm good. That's always good to hear. I like when people say that, you know. Would you like some more prasadam? No, I'm good. Oh, so you're satisfied. Oh, look, who's here? Hare Krishna. We were just going to talk about you, but now that you're here, we're not. We're talking about Krishna. So, beyond the mode of passion. You don't have this driving desire. I got to go to work. I got to go earn. I got to do this. I got to do that because I want that. You know, this is what wears our bodies out. I got to do this. I got to go. I want. Take that away. What if you're totally satisfied? So this goes along with this transcendental happiness that Krishna's talking about, isn't it? You know, Krishna's making a heck of a deal here. He's beyond the mode of passion, and he realizes his qualitative identity with the Supreme. No, that's good to remind ourselves of. We have a qualitative identity with God, which means we're the same quality. 24 karat gold in a small piece is the same as the 24 karat gold in a mountain of gold. Qualitatively, we're the same as Krishna. We're just different in size. We're not as vast. We are eternal. We're everything he is. We just don't have as much of it. But that's okay. He's got enough for the rest of us. You see? So when you just realize that qualitative oneness, not personality oneness, or gee whiz, you could take that to the point where you start thinking you are God, and you say that you are one with God. Well, I'm one with God, so are you. Quality-wise, DNA, your spiritual DNA is the same as his. Nobody can tell the difference between you and him, except in your personality. And you're not as vast as he is. Who would want to be? I mean, some people might want to be. You know, would you? Yeah, I mean, what would you do if you had to make all of the decisions? You know, Krishna doesn't. No, he just wants to be in love. So, and thus he is freed from all reactions to past deeds. So I get this highest transcendental perfection, and I get out of the mode of passion. I get all this stuff, and you just took away my bad karma too. I don't have to pay for my past deeds. He's driving a heck of a bargain here, isn't he? You know? So then he goes on to the next verse. Thus, the self-controlled yogi, constantly engaged in yogic practice, becomes free from all material contamination and achieves the highest stage of perfect happiness in transcendental loving service to the Lord. So, Krishna is saying, if you are this yogi who thinks of me all the time, kindles a little bit of your dormant love, and start to behave with him as your dearmost friend and ever well-wisher, this is what you get. What do you have to sacrifice? What is the opportunity cost?
Suffering.
I got to give up my suffering. But then, what will I whine about? What will I whine about if I give up my?
Exactly.
If you want about this,
I mean, we're always going to whine about her. I mean, not that your husband does. He would never whine. No, he's only just compliments. So, you going to give up your suffering? Gee whiz, I don't get to whine. If I give up my suffering, I have to legitimately give up pity. I want to give up pity? You want to give up pity? No. Man, I'm getting some mileage out of this pity. The older I get, people, oh, look at that poor old guy. You go walking by with your cane and people, look at that old guy. Oh, what a cripple he is. I start to drag a little worse, you know. Give me more. I like pity. Give me more. Make mine a double. So you got to give it up. You're satisfied. Can you imagine full satisfaction? I mean, I'm not talking about temporary satisfaction, like when you're thirsty or take some water, when you're hungry, you eat a little something. I'm talking about full satisfaction that will never, ever go away, and you'll never desire anything else. Well, that's mind-boggling, isn't it? You know, in this embodied situation that we find ourselves in these human bodies, that's pretty hard for us to imagine, really. Can you imagine going there and staying there for eternity? You're always in that, I'm good. But actually beyond that, you're tasting transcendental bliss because you're with the source of love, the source of bliss, your dearmost friend. Can you think that Krishna would be able to keep you happy? I mean, just being around him would be pretty happy, wouldn't it? You know? But he's going to take away your suffering. You know? If you get close to the fire, you feel the warmth and you see the light. You can't stop that. If you get close in your consciousness, you're always close physically to Krishna. We can't see it. But if you get close in your heart to Krishna, he's going to, just by being there, it's going to take away your suffering and your desires. Think about that. It's pretty hard for us to imagine not having any desires. I'm great. I'm so blissed out that I couldn't possibly want anything else or even any more Because being with Krishna, he's ever increasing. He's never stagnant. No matter how good something is, you can adjust to it. I've known people in my previous life that I saw become wealthy. They got out of college, they got their MBA, and here they are working in business, and I'm seeing them year after year, and before you know it, they're like, well, back in the 80s, I remember a friend of mine was saying that he was a consultant, and he got his, what he called billing, he charged his clients over $1 million a year. Now, in the mid 80s, that was a lot of money. I mean, it still is, but can you imagine how much it was then? So here he is driving all these cool cars. I mean, he shows up. He's not wearing J.C. Penney stuff. Are they still around? Is it still J.C. Penney? No, he's wearing Armani, big Rolex watches and living. He's living the dream. Seems real happy. See him next year. He and his wife are getting a divorce. Things are, but anyway, he wants more. That's what they all want. Otherwise, people that made billions, they would just buy an island and go live there and just be in bliss. Who does it? No, they want more. Our friend Elon, did you say it Elon or is it Elon? I don't care. Musk. He doesn't seem like the happiest, most satisfied guy in the world, does he? He's the richest guy in the world. You look at all these other rich guys. They don't seem like they've really achieved all there is to achieve. They still want more. That's not transcendental. In the transcendental world, you can get so much love, so much pleasure, that you're never going to want more. But yet, Krishna knows that at some point you just might want more. And he always wants more to share with you. He's always increasing, ever increasing. Not just by a little bit, not by like 2 or 3% a year increase. In some businesses, that's good. 10%, that's really, no, Krishna's increasing every second, millions of times better. We can't even keep up with this guy. The enjoyment gets millions of times better. I mean, it's good to be God, right? Not only can he enjoy, but he wants all of us to enjoy. We're his parts and parcels too. Just like your daughter. You want your daughter to be happy, right? You want your daughter to enjoy. And as she gets older, you're going to be concerned about that. So Krishna's the same way. We're his children, his parts and parcels. He wants you to enjoy. It is your right, entitlement, transcendental entitlement from the Supreme. You're entitled to be eternally blissful. That's beyond real happiness. Bliss is more than happy. Krishna wants you to always be blissful. You're entitled to it. You're entitled to be eternal. And you can't change that you're eternal. You have a right to be blissful, but we've chosen to do material things and go on a material journey. And sometimes that works out for us. Sometimes it just doesn't, right? And we're trying to get this, we're trying to get that. So, but that's not what he wants. He's saying, hey, think of me all the time. Be my devotee. Show me some love. Let's exchange love. And here's what I'm offering. Sounds like a pretty good offer. You got to give up your suffering. Now, are you sure you want to do that? Just think of what a life-changing event that would be if you had absolutely no suffering? That's kind of hard to think about because this material world is so full of suffering. You know, it's hard to get away from. All right, so let's jump back to the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 40th verse. Krishna says, in this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution. It means decrease. You don't lose anything. Did you know what that diminution? I don't know what. I have to look it up again and again every time I read Bhagavad Gita, almost every time. So Krishna says you're not going to lose anything. There is no loss or diminution. And a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. Whoa. Krishna says, I want you to get rid of the fear. This is an illusion that's going on between this ear and this ear. It's happening in your mind. What is there to be afraid of? You are an eternal part of the Supreme. You can't be, what does Krishna say in Bhagavad Gita? You can't be burned by fire, withered by the wind. In other words, you can meet no destruction. You are eternal, just as he is. So you got to let fear go. Are we ready to give up suffering and fear? Maybe. No. Can I give it up a little at a time?
How's my pity?
Yeah, and my pity. You know, no more pity parties. Jeez. I never get invited to pity parties. I just find myself in them. It usually starts with, can we talk? No, we aren't going to, but I think you are going to talk. So. Let me hear how this eternal part and parcel of the Supreme is suffering so much and what it is you are afraid of. That doesn't mean we don't listen to people seriously and sincerely. But for somebody who knows how things work, you immediately say, wait a minute, hold on. You've got it made. Oh, you've got it made. You're eternal. You're full of knowledge. You're entitled to ultimate bliss. You're a part and parcel of the Supreme. Oh, but you don't know that. Okay, but what if you do know that? Well, no. I have to be satisfied and blissful now, don't I? Because I'm giving up the pursuit of suffering and pity, whatever, for bliss. That's what Krishna wants you to let go of. Let go of fear. So there are some things that I noticed a long time ago that Krishna consciousness will take away from you. And you don't even know when it leaves, but you'll think about it someday. One of them is fear. One of them is fear. It's like I've been a vegetarian for 53 years, something like that. And so I remember what eating meat is. I just don't have a clue what it tastes like. I don't remember. It's been so long. So fear is like that. I know what it is. I can define it. I can tell when you're feeling it. I don't know what it tastes like. Krishna took it away a long time ago. And I've seen it in decisions that I've made sometimes that I look back and I'm thinking, that might not have been the best decision to make. You know, I'm not going to give you details, but you know, when you're in a dangerous situation and you start thinking like a fearless individual, you make fearless decisions and they work. And then you look back and you think, wow, that could have gone the other way, but you know, so fear, Krishna takes away it, your fear. Loneliness. I know what it is. I don't know what it feels like. I have no clue. For me, I don't know what it tastes like. I know what it is. I can tell when you're feeling it. Beginning of such activity finds no impediment, nor can that small beginning be lost at any stage. Whatever you do, like if you gain 1% of spiritual knowledge, real spiritual knowledge, not whimsical, gee whiz, it ought to be kind of spiritual. I'm talking about real. If you get 1% and then you die, you start off next birth with that 1%. You never lose it. You may get a PhD in, I don't know, whatever, science. And at the time of death, where's your PhD? It's gone. But it's not like that with spiritual knowledge. Whatever you learn, in other words, whatever steps you make towards Krishna, you've got those forever. You don't have to make those steps again in the next life. You're already there. You start off from where you left off. So Krishna's like, let's make this easy on all of us. You think of me a little bit, that's something that you get to keep that credit forever, for eternity. You'll never lose it. I guess I should probably pause now and see if there's any questions or comments. Anybody have anything?
I have a comment.
Please.
I've noticed, I think it might be the chanting, but I've noticed that my internal dialogue is more kind to me.
Oh.
It's kinder now.
Can you explain that? I mean,
Because, did you see that movie? What's that funny movie I just watched? Anyway, he always say, idiot. That self-talk, like, you idiot, you're so stupid. I always talk like that to myself, but it's always running in my head. And lately I noticed it's been like kind and supportive and kind of like a cheerleader to myself. It's kind of cool.
because I wouldn't call it fully self-realized, but you're becoming self-realized.
Yeah, it's supportive.
And this is the result of that. What self-realization, I mean, if God is great, if he's beautiful, if he's all these things that we hear about him, and you are equal, except not as vast, well, then you're beautiful, you're loving, you're all those things too. So then you when you start to become self-realized, you become fixed in the self. And the self is good. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, you don't have any faults. You, the living entity, you have no faults. Now you may think, oh, but I've done a lot of dumb things, I've done mean things. But you, the spirit soul, are 100% pure. But your consciousness gets covered over. You start thinking you're something that you're not. And then you're waking up realizing, but that I thought I was, I'm not. I'm actually this. And I like this. I like this servant of Krishna. My gee whiz, if you can be a servant of Krishna, you can be a servant of all living entities. Not just to human beings. Not just the people that are in the same political party. Not just people that have the same skin color. All living entities. That includes the plants, everything. What you can actually have. It is possible. Scientists are they're saying that, I don't know if they've proven it, but they say they have, that plants can feel your mood. Some people think they need to talk to their plants or sing to their plants, chant to your plant. But it's the feeling that you, the soul, has toward that entity that they feel. And they love it. Well, who wouldn't? You know? So you get that feeling. You'll find yourself walking down the sidewalk someday and almost stumble trying to avoid stepping on some dumb ant that ran across it. Ah, gosh, you know, that's a dumb thing. Didn't your mother tell you to look both ways before you cross the sidewalk? You know, I don't want to cause any disturbance to the ant. He's just trying to get from here to there. Who knows? He's probably got a wife and kids waiting for him. He might even be bringing dinner for them. I don't know. Maybe he's the ant DoorDash and he's delivering. You know, who knows? I don't want to get in this guy's way here. You start to feel some compassion even for ants, other living entities, you see. So what you're going through is just so normal with chanting Hare Krishna.
Because I was thinking, how am I ever going to give up my addiction to suffering? It's who I am. But then I realized you get help along the way. You don't really have to give it up. It's like you notice that it's just not there as much.
But it's going to, yeah, you don't have to, this is a good point. You don't have to let it go or give it away or give it up. It's going to be taken from you. If you have ignorance plus knowledge, that kills ignorance. Ignorance goes away. You give knowledge, there is no ignorance, you see. So that's what we're going through. You get the knowledge, now you don't have the ignorance of misidentifying of what you think you are. Does that make sense? Now I know. You've given me knowledge. Who tells us things like this? You know, people say things like, oh, well, the universe wants to, you know. I'm talking about Krishna's direct words, his outreach. I want to tell you about me. Just always think of Krishna, and that's what he's wanting. I want to tell you about me. Because it's going to thrill you to know about me. I mean, that may sound kind of puffed up, but I mean, he's God, he's Krishna, he's everything. He's so beautiful, attractive, loving, source of it all. You know, it's okay for him to say, you're not going to find anything better than me. I mean, if anybody else said that, you'd say, I don't know. Sometimes you believe people when they say that, you know. But I mean, this is the supreme. And he's saying, hey, you're not going to find a better deal. I'm the top. I am the best thing you could ever imagine. I'm even beyond that. And I want you to know about me. I want to share me with you. So some people think, you know, well, if there's a God, where is he? Why can't I see him? People would say that to Prabhupada all the time. Where's this God? Where is God? And Prabhupada is pure, fully pure, and he can see God every minute. Well, you can too if you have the right eyes. You can have the realization that, well, he's everywhere. He's, you know, this is God and this is God. Everything emanates from God, but yet there is a personality there that I can interface with. If we can get personal, then we can share love. Until we get personal, you can forget that there's no possibility of love. Is that correct? So if we're not allowing God to have a personality, you're denying any love. You don't know anything about him. A lot of people, maybe most, I don't know. I haven't interviewed everybody in the world, but it seems like a lot of people are just pretty much afraid of him. He's a scary guy. You don't know anything about him, except that he's way powerful. And he's got this omniscient thing going on, he kind of like knows. What is that they say? He knows when you're sleeping, he knows when you're awake. Oh no, wait, that's Santa Claus. So that's scary. This guy's this powerful. He knows what I'm thinking. And I don't know a darn thing about him. Jeez, that makes me feel uncomfortable. I always felt uncomfortable in church when they would used to be telling me, I'd be like, oh, gosh. Does God know what you're thinking? Yes. Oh, no. Oh, no. But then when you learn about him, his personality, his pastimes, his joking, well, then he becomes attractive. And then you get to know more, and he becomes more attractive. Then the next thing you know, you're overwhelmed. Well, he's just not only a great guy, well, he's just fabulous. My dearmost friend. So to get there, we need to hear. Krishna says, if you want to know about me, start out, touch, renew, now hear. Listen. Now, listening can be hearing from someone who's read Bhagavad Gita, can be from reading Bhagavad Gita. That's here. You first get the knowledge. And if you can defeat it, defeat it. Let's hear it. And if you can't, just fall in love. Again, let your love loose. It's dormant. It's not gone. It's not dead. It's just dormant. You forgot about it. Why? A lot of people ask me that. Why? Why would I forget about it? If he's so beautiful, so wonderful, all these things, why would I forget about him? How could I possibly? Well, the fact of the matter is, it's impossible for you to have forgotten about this person who's your dearmost friend, the Supreme. It's impossible. But you wanted to. You wanted to forget him. Now, why? Why would you want to forget him? Anybody? What do you think?
Intimidation,
Intimidation?
perhaps.
Perhaps, yeah. And maybe an envy. It's very easy for us to get envious. Most human beings, I don't know if animals get envious. Do animals get envious?
Fish tank.
Yes.
Fish tank.
Huh?
One has a bone, the other one doesn't.
Yeah, okay, that's a good. So here's God, this all beautiful, all attractive entity, center of attention. Everybody is falling all over. Oh, gee whiz. Everybody laughs at all of his jokes. He's the most charming, and that's great until you start thinking, hey, wait a minute. Don't you guys realize that I'm pretty sharp too? Hey, what about me? I want to be in the center. I can do this God thing. What does he have that I don't have? So you start to think like that. And Krishna, he's not upset. He's just, would you like to be the center? Yeah, I think so. All right, then I have a place for you that you can go. You can't do that here because you can't compete with me. It's not that it's restricted or against the rules. It's just that you cannot compete with the source. So I have to make an arrangement for you to have a place that you can go and live, the material world. And you want to get away from me because when you see me, you get upset because I'm the center of the okay, So you want to forget me? That's impossible. But I'm going to help you. And you can go on your journey. And let's see how that works out. So I have the material energy, often referred to as Maya, that which is not. And we'll cover your ability to think with things that are opposite from reality, like you're a temporary entity, there is birth, there is death. None of that in the spiritual world, but we'll let you go to this world. The problem is you've got to compete with all the others there that are trying to be the center of attention. So that's where we are. We only were able to forget Krishna with his help. And it wasn't to be mean, it's because, well, it's what you want. We're like spoiled children. He'll give you anything. He'll give you anything you want. And as soon as you say, hey, look, Krishna,
Oh, there's no gluten.
I want you, then he says, all right, you got that. But you covered over my vision so that I couldn't see you. All right, we'll take that away. You ready? You ready to come back to my embrace? That's great. Then I'll open every door there is. I'll make it very easy for you. As a matter of fact, as soon as you have that intense desire, it's already done. It's already done. It's not something that you have to go to school for or anything. You don't have to pay a tax. So good comment. Any more questions? Comments?
Gurudev, I was thinking about how this idea of not wanting to let go of your suffering, and how you were saying that this suffering is only existing between our ears. So essentially, it's just happening within the mind.
It's perceived.
It's like perceived suffering, but it's not real suffering. We've created this whole scenario in our minds, and it's so real. It's so hard for us to let it go. And Krishna is like telling us to let it go. We don't want to let it go. Right? And that's kind of our plight here in this material world. So this process of remembering Krishna is in turn a process of also letting go of the things that stop you from remembering Krishna. But
That's the opportunity cost.
that's the opportunity cost. But the human dilemma is that we have these stories that we perpetuate in our minds. So we've already identified with these stories that are just illusion, but they're so heavily ingrained that we believe them, so much so that we self-sabotage to that extreme.
This is a strong point. This is good point. I'm glad you brought this up. Because of our firm belief, we self-sabotage. It's like you were saying. We have a tendency to say, now you're just a jerk. Now you're just a loser. Now you're...
And we're none of those things. And Krishna's trying to remind us constantly, over and over again. He's sending us things. He's giving us scripture. He's sending devotees. He's just trying to remind us. And yet here we are, just stubborn as ever, not wanting to let go of the very thing that's keeping us from seeing that. So,
Yeah.
so like we're the enemy here. Like we're the problem.
Yeah, it's like if you save up $1 million, you got $1 million, and some very rich guy says, I'll tell you what, you give me your $1 million, all of it, and I'll give you $1 trillion. And well, I'm ready to do it right now. You may say, well, that's the opportunity cost. I got to give up my $1 million for your $1 trillion. I don't know. I got to think this over. I don't know about this.
And it's legit. There's no.
It's legit.
Yeah,
It can happen right now. He's ready to make the transfer.
Yeah.
You know, all I have to do is hit send and bam, it goes into your account. trillion bucks, but you got to give me the million. So this is what we're faced with right now. Krishna says, you give up the suffering, which is related to you are identifying with your body, and you're identifying with being a part of this temporary world. If you'll let go of that, I'll give you the, what does he call it? The ultimate happiness.
Transcendental.
The ultimate transcendental happiness. And then we're like, yeah, I don't know. Can I get back to you on this? Because I don't know.
Later on my deathbed.
Yeah,
Ask me on
maybe-
my deathbed.
yeah. I'm ready to. What did he say? He said he's ready to. What does this mean? I wondered what he was going to say. You know. Yeah, I mean, it's. Krishna says this. I want you to let it go because it's not even real. Your suffering isn't even real. This is just your perception. You perceive it.
I guess my question is, Gurudev, like, if someone's suffering in this way and they can admit that they're suffering in this way, like they can admit it, they see it, they acknowledge it, they understand it in theory, and why wouldn't they let it go ultimately?
Because we haven't given them anything that they can have faith in and knowledge in to substitute for it. Because this is what I have. This is my life. This is my daily routine.
It's your identity.
Huh?
Your identity.
It's your identity. It's my, why, this is me.
Yeah.
See, it's so ingrained. Why, this is me. It's like someone asking you when you start to do like brushing your teeth. Instead of starting in front, I want you to start in the very back. Well, that's going to be hard to do because that's part of what I think. You know, it's my subconsciously I do that. I mean, you probably don't know how you brush your teeth, do you? You don't even think about it.
Muscle memory.
You don't need to think about it. It's just somewhere in that subconscious mind. You just walk in and you start brushing. You could be thinking about anything and everything. Taking a shower. You don't stand in the shower, turn the water on, and say, where should I start? What did I do yesterday? I don't know. No, you could do, it's just like that. So what we're asking ourselves to do is to break out of this perception that you have of yourself and how you relate to the world around you. And when we do that, that's kind of scary. I am a 77-year-old person, and all these liver spots are me. You know? Why? I'm dying. It wouldn't matter if you weren't eternal, but you're eternal and you know it. Subconsciously, you know it. That's why it bothers you. I'm going to die. I don't want to die. Some people say, oh, I'm not afraid of death. Wait till the moment comes. Maybe you're not. We're going to find out someday. We probably get a little bit more serious as death comes closer. See? So, that's a strong point. We're so convinced. It's so hard for us to let it go until you show me something better. Show me something better than my perception of myself, which is so fallible. And, you know, sometimes you have relatives, sometimes a dad or a mom, and they tell you, they're never going to amount to anything. You know, there's always somebody in your life that's telling you you're not worth this, or not always, but I mean, point, you know, really. There's going to be somebody that's envious of you. All it takes is a tiny bit of success, somebody's going to be envious. That guy thinks he's a big engineer. He's faking it. Nobody pays attention to me. I'm much better than him. So this is the nature of this material world. In the spiritual world, we have the luxury of thinking that everyone's better than me. Why, you're more beautiful. You're more charming. That's the nature of the soul. We give respect and love to everyone. Because we know I'm part and parcel of Krishna. I don't need to convince myself that I'm better than anybody. That's not important. Not important at all. I don't need to demonstrate any of that stuff. Nor will I let myself think that. It's much more loving, much more enjoyable to see your beauty, your intelligence. Even if it may be flawed right now, it's flawed by you thinking your body. But those who know, they know, no, you're wrong, you're not. You're this beautiful part and parcel of Krishna. And I want to do something to make you happy. Nothing in it for me. What do I get? Krishna allows me to have the consciousness to remember him some, and he keeps me always happy. Just this relationship. You know, when you're in love, it puts you in a pretty good mood, doesn't it? You ever notice people like newlyweds? You know, speaking of newlyweds, where's our newlyweds tonight?
They're moving. She just got here.
Oh.
She's got here right now. She's nice stuff. They're moving. She was moving stuff out of her room and so it's gonna happen to the end. That kind of.
Yeah.
She made it simply wonderful. And they're really good.
Bless her. Fantastic. Did she make a lot of them?
Yeah, she did.
I don't care about her stinking Simply Wonderfuls. I've got popcorn. All right, so I think that's probably enough. If there's no other questions, we'll wrap it up here. And we'll do this again some other day. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.